So I love seeing these field trellis systems. Can you talk a little bit about this system, how it works, and also kind of just some of the details about where you got the idea and those sorts of things?
So this system is primarily for our tomatoes. We did the past 2 years. We did our tomatoes on this, so we could go the lean and lower method, or lower and lean method. What we did was we ran 2 ground anchors. These are a 3-foot ground anchor in, and then used tension wires with what's that? I forgot what those are called.
Turnbuckles?
Turnbuckles with turnbuckles on it to kind of tension the wire. And then up top as well, so we have it kind of drilled it up there, and then also 2 more turnbuckles up there to kind of tighten up any type of slack that we get. The tomatoes itself got super heavy last year to the point where I do believe there was probably like almost roughly like maybe 40-pound tomato plants per plant, and we had 400 tomatoes in this field. So what we would do is we develop just the EMT conduit and just drilled between those two and kind of made like a teepee. And what that did was that kind of holds up our wire every 5 feet, and then we were able to get the full 10-foot height. The reason I went with the 10-foot height is for the lean and lower, is that what I wanted to do was be able to lower it actually almost 2 feet, and then be able to let it give us time to work and do other things throughout the week, and then have time to be able to let it grow back up to the next step. I didn't want to. I saw other systems where people would do it almost at like eye level, and I thought you would constantly trying to lower and lean that, every single week. This gave us almost like a 2-week gap, being able to lower it 2 feet and then let it grow back up those 2 weeks, a foot a week almost, getting to that point. Yeah, that was this has saved us a lot this year. So we're moving our tomatoes down to the lower field. So this same system will build down to our lower field down there, and then up here we'll be doing our cucumbers this year on the trellis system as well. So once this is in place, it stays in place forever. They don't need to take it down, set it up, or break it down.
All right, you said it's like an overbuilt clothes hanger?
Yeah, it's like an overbuilt clothes hanger.
So what's going on? We got like 4x4 pressure treated?
Yep, 4x4. These are not treated.
No, not treated. Okay.
They're not treated. We just decided not to go with it. What we did do was that it's actually inside the ground. We put a tar with a black trash bag on it. And what we did around the base as well is we sloped our concrete away, so any type of water that runs down it actually always slopes away from it. One of the kind of the construction of it up here too is that it's actually like it actually offsets. You can kind of see how it offsets, and so the way it's being held together is with a pin. So you kind of see that we cut it to where it would actually be offset and pushing it against itself. Like I said, it's huge. You can kind of pull on it and see what it does, but once you get the tomatoes on it, the tension is so tight. It's pretty insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to show us the pole?
Yep.
All right, so talk a little bit about that conduit system.
Yeah. So with the trellis system, this wire gets down to it's 100 feet long. This wire gets down to just about almost 7 feet in height, and I still wanted that 10 foot in height. So what we came up was we took this EMT and just put a through bolt on it, and then with that, what we do is actually makes a scissor. If I can get that, and this actually keeps it. It spreads in 30-inch wide bed like that, and that once you kind of push it down a little bit, and that keeps it at its 10 foot in height. And that just kind of, and then what we'll do is we'll spread this every 5 feet going down, keeping our wire flat in the same level. Even in between, it's crazy, even in between these poles, the line will still sag a little bit. So that's how our tomatoes just get so heavy. Our production for our tomatoes last year was insane. We were doing about 300 pounds of tomatoes every 3 days on the farm. It was just ridiculous.
Wow. Okay, so when you're lowering and leaning, you're going underneath and in between the conduit? So
when we would lower, it's the simple the tomahawks.
Yeah.
Tomahawks. We would unhook it and go underneath it and hook it again. We found that by the later part of the season, having it this height and being able to drop it down a full 2 feet and then pruning it was huge. It made the workload way easier because we weren't having to come every single week and lean and lower. We were doing it every 2 weeks, it just made our life easy, especially during summer when things are nuts.
Are you able to do that without a step ladder? Like going to 10 feet?
So no. So we had a small step ladder. I thought about going with the drywall stilts, and then I was like, can't really do that with staff because I was worried about that. Still might try it next year, but yeah. So we just came along with a ladder, and then you actually could do in one spot. You can get it out to be almost three or four plants down. We planted a 13-inch wide spacing, so we were pretty tight, and able to, like I said, you could get 3 or 4 down on one standing. But yeah, it was the constant up and down. You can almost, no, you can't. Nope, there was no.
Do they wrap around at the ends? So you're doing two beds together essentially?
So with our lean and lower system, what we do, instead of jumping across to the next row, we would actually pound a stake at the end of the bed and then wrap the tomato plant around that stake, coming back up on the same trellis line. So you have like this cross effect, but still going that lean and lower. It got a little complicated. You just kind of have to look for where your plants are going, and then you keep doing that all the way down. But at one point we had tomato plants over 25 feet long, which was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping to get the full 50 foot, but it wasn't gonna happen. Yeah.
I love how simple this is. I mean, cost-wise.
Yeah. I mean, cost-wise, you're looking at just the lumber, and the 9 gauge is up there in cost.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
But
you're talking about 400 feet of tomatoes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And the half-inch conduit's cheap.
Yeah, and the return. Yeah, and the tomatoes and the return is huge.
Huge.
That's huge. Big difference there. Yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
Nice thing is this is flexible. You can still grow whatever in here.
And one of the things that we're going to do was this being our shade system as well now. So putting this up and then putting they have the rebar caps on top, and be able to run our shade straight over this whole section right here, like a big, large shade cloth. Being the fact that we get up to like 110, we kind of feel down here there's no wind or airflow down here because we're in a kind of a pocket on this hillside. We had to have run shade, and so I didn't want to run. I was going to run shade over the beds like this, but we found constantly lifting it up, taking it off to harvest. If we can just work underneath a full shade structure, that'd be way better.
Okay, so these are full 10 pieces of pipe?
Yep, full 10 foot.
Okay, and how often do you space them out with tomatoes?
Every 5 feet.
Okay.
But I only space them out every 5 feet for when I have a load, so like a tomato load on it. Other than that, you can probably do like one, I mean, if you look at the height right now, it keeps it at the height with one in the middle. So if it's just a shade cloth on top of it, probably maybe just some right down the middle right here is good to go. But with tomatoes and that load on it, we're going every 5 feet. And you see even then the weight is insane.
Yeah.
You still see the bend in between the 5. It's just like, damn, it's nuts. These things, they like make an impression. The wire even gets so nudged so far down that it still even makes an impression on the wire. It dimples it. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Huge amount of weight.
Yeah, the tomatoes can be so heavy. And you're doing both cherries and?
I do cherries and then 3 different slicers. This year I went with 1 cherry and again 3 different slicers, 1 red and 1 purple and 2 reds. And that's just keep it simple for the markets.
Yeah.
We saw that we figured that most people show up, they just want a red tomato. If you start to get too colorful, 2 different like varieties, they just kind of like don't know what to buy. I don't know if I want to get this. So also found that if we had 1 orange, 1 red, people would try both at the same time. They're like, oh, I want 1 and 1.
Right.
Try it. So marketing kind of was cool there.
Yeah, sometimes that simplification can go a long way.
Yep.